Another game, another loss to Spurs. I'm losing count. No home win in over 2 months. Our last home win was against Aston Villa on the 3rd of November 2024. Since then, we've lost to Ipswich at home. We've drawn to Fulham at home. We've lost to Liverpool at home. We've lost to Chelsea at home. We've drawn to Wolves at home. And now we've lost to Newcastle at home. Right? This is bad. This is really, really bad. This is 10 Premier League losses. And we're only at the 4th of January. 10 Premier League losses. We've played, 20 games? 20 games and we've lost 10? It's spooky settings. This is unprecedented in the last, how many years? 10, 11 years. Sorry, I'm even trying to think. Even Wande Ramos, Jose, AVB, I can't remember it being this bad in terms of this amount of losses at this stage of the season. And the funny thing is, I can't even, sorry bro, the funny thing is like, I can't even get super angry anymore because I've just come to expect it. I didn't expect us to win today. I actually went for Tottenham to lose initially on the big six, but I said, you know what, maybe we can try and sneak a draw. And we had a good start to the game. Fantastic ball from Pedro Porro, who I actually thought had his best game in a Spurs shirt in a very long time. He's been poor this season, but he had his best game in a Spurs shirt in a very long time today. Really good start, good header from Solanke. And that's another thing that pisses me off. Like, we play with the guy who scored the most headed goals last season, and we rarely put the ball into a position where he can actually attack it with his head. Today was the first time in a long time we actually put the ball in a position where Solanke can actually attack it with his head, and he scored. Right? He put us 1-0 up, but my problem is this. We almost instantly give away momentum. Sloppy pass from Sarr in build-up. Very, very sloppy, and they score. And that is just us in a nutshell today. We lacked quality, especially in the first half. We lacked conviction. It looked like a team that just was, it just had nothing to throw at Newcastle in the first half. And I get it. No Son, no Maddison, plus the injuries we had. That was not a team that was actually going to create a lot of chances. But that being said, there were some really bad performances today. I thought Sarr was poor. Really poor. He was absolutely terrible today. Just giving away the ball, just playing against us, just hindering any sort of good play that we're trying to build in the first half. Yeah. I thought Dragusin was poor. I don't know whether he was ill or carrying a knock. Obviously, he had to go off at half time, but for me, it just wasn't good. And there were some good performances in the first half. I thought Bergvall was decent. I thought, as I said, Porro was good. I thought Brandon Austin, big up to him. I thought he played really well. But yeah, man, I just thought we just gave away the game in the first half to Newcastle. And we were fortunate that they weren't 3-1 up at the break. But even then, this wasn't even like a good performance from Newcastle. Their midfield was gaping. Their attack weren't even unsung today. The only good thing about Newcastle today was their structure off the ball defensively in their box. Like, they didn't really let us create many opportunities. So props to them. Like, they scored their 2 goals. They defended well enough, but they were there for the taking in the second half. And I just feel like if Maddison comes on at half time, if Son comes on at half time, if Basuma comes on at half time, it's a different game. It's a different game completely. And you saw the difference that Maddison made in the second half, which begs the question, why is he not coming on at half time? I can understand him not playing the full 90 minutes because we know that there's been a bout of illnesses or like sweeping through the squad. But for me, it's just, I don't understand why we have a manager who's just like really bad at doing the logical things. Like, even in the second half, we still weren't playing that well. And it was so clear, the subs to make Son, Maddison, Basuma, take off Johnson, take off Werner, take off Sarr. And he leaves Johnson on for 90 minutes. Brennan Johnson did 2 good things in 90 minutes. Why has he stayed on this football pitch? If you play Kulusevski off the right, then you have Bergvall in the midfield, who is actually having a decent game. You have Maddison there, and then you have Basuma to protect. But no, we don't do any of these things. We don't do any of these things because our manager, for whatever reason, thinks he knows more than everyone else and just doesn't want to do the logical thing in the critical moments. This is what you get paid to do. Like, you get paid to make critical, positive decisions, in-game management. That's what you want to see from your manager. And our manager's in-game management, it just isn't it. Even in the first half as well, you're playing Bergvall as a 6, right? You're playing Bergvall as a 6, you're playing Sarr as the 8. You started 2 wingers who have no next zero or limited quality on the ball, yet you're still playing this expansive style and you're funneling the ball to a player who you know is almost certainly going to lose it every single time. Like, there's no such thing as compactness with this team. You're playing 2 guys who are far more suited to transition football, and yet we're trying to play expansive with no number 6. Like, it was quite easy for Newcastle to actually pick us off. But honestly, big up to a couple of players today, man. I want to big up to Brandon Austin, man. This guy came into the team. He came into the team today and was fantastic. Like, coming to claim crosses, distribution, just a solid pair of hands, right? And it begs the question, if this is the type of performance he can put up, why wasn't he playing before? Why have we had to see Fraser Forster? What was observed in training, right? What was observed in training to stop this guy from playing? I've heard all these rumours about he's not that good. He looked fine to me today. He looked more than fine today. So I just want to understand what has happened behind the scenes, that we've had a player who's come into the team and has actually given us that performance and we've not used him up until this point. But he wasn't the only one. Big up to him, big up to Pedro Porro. Another one, Maddison, and Solanke. Solanke played all right today as well. He tried. But I thought Kulusevski wasn't great today. I didn't think he had a good game. I don't think he was awful, but I didn't think he had a good game. I think there were some moments where I wanted more quality on the ball. But again, in Kulusevski in the first half, we couldn't get the ball out of our own half. So we weren't even able to get the ball to the likes of Kulusevski for a majority in the game, or majority of the game, until the likes of Maddison came onto the football pitch. And that's what I'm going to speak about right now. Because there's way too much chat when it comes to the likes of James Maddison. He's come on against one of the informed sides in the league. That's 6 wins straight for Newcastle now. And he's just made a mockery of their midfield. Like, he's coming on, he's pulling strings, he's playing key passes. Like, he's doing the things that we want to see from a playmaker. And yet people will still say, oh, he shouldn't start, he should be sold. Nonsense. James Maddison is a quality footballer. He may not have a 10 out of 10 game or 7 out of 10 game or 8 out of 10 game every game, but you see the impact of a player like Maddison quite clearly by touches that he had today. He's got to be playing more matches for Tottenham. He should be starting games. For me, when I saw that lineup, I said, okay, you know what? There's got to be something up here. It must be him not being 100%, because there's no way on earth you start Werner and Johnson on the flanks and you put Maddison on the bench. You need ball players. What did we struggle to do for most of this game until Maddison came on? It was keeping the ball, playing the ball into dangerous areas, having some trickery, guile, creativity. That's what he had. And unfortunately for us, he's suspended against Liverpool. So we just got to hope and pray that this manager actually puts him back into the starting lineup in our next league game or FA Cup game, whatever it is. I think we play Tamworth, play him there, and then the next league game you have to start him. But when it rains, it pours, man. When it rains, it pours. We know Ange in it. We know that the team's decimated with injury. So listen, I weren't really expecting the result today. Well, I weren't expecting 3 points because we're dealing with a lot as a club. But I feel like even with what we're dealing with, we have a manager who still isn't doing enough to give us the edge in certain games. And that's just where I am with it. It's pathetic, man, but it is what it is. We just keep sinking further and further down the table.